Welcome to this walkthrough guide on how to convert Google Slides into a polished video. Okay, so picture this. You've just finished building a presentation, speaker notes and all, and someone asks you, hey, can you turn this into a video instead? Something people can just watch without you there to present it? Your stomach drops a little, right? Screen recording software, writing a voiceover script from nothing, re-recording yourself until you stop saying every 4 seconds. Here's the thing though, if you're using Google Slides and Google Vids, that whole process can basically happen on its own now. Vids can take your existing deck, speaker notes included, and turn it into a fully narrated video. You can even have an actual AI avatar, a virtual presenter, delivering your script for you, and it genuinely looks impressive. So, let's get into it. Let's start right at the beginning. I've built a really basic deck here, just 5 slides, and it's actually all about the tool that we're demonstrating today. So you're about to see this tool explain itself. Now, each slide's got a title, a little bit of supporting text, and underneath, real speaker notes. Full sentences, actual dialogue, like I'm genuinely talking to the camera. That's the important bit to notice before we go much further. This is not bullet point reminders, this is real dialogue. Now, to convert it, head up to the File menu in Slides and you'll see that there's an option called Convert to Video. Or, if you're doing this from the Vids site itself, simply head to vids.new and choose Import Slides. Either way gets you to a Select Slides screen, where you can deselect anything that you don't actually want in the video. Say a poll slide with a QR code that doesn't really make sense once the session isn't live anymore. Now, there's also a toggle worth pausing on here. Include AI voiceover, script, background music, and animation. Now, if you leave that switch on, Vids will generate the whole package for you in one click. And honestly, that'll get you most of the way there in very little time. But for this video, I want to show you how each piece works on its own. So I'm going to toggle this off and build it up manually, step by step. So click Next and Vids builds out your story, one scene per slide along a timeline at the bottom, carrying across your text, your images, your slide elements, with your speaker notes already waiting to become your script. Now, this next bit here is honestly the whole reason why this feature's worth using instead of building out the video from nothing inside Vids. If you open up any scene and then use this panel on the right called AI Voiceover, you'll see that sitting right there in the script box is the text from your speaker notes, already carried across and ready to edit if you need to. You didn't have to do anything for that to happen. So whatever you wrote in your speaker notes becomes the words that your voiceover or your avatar is actually going to say. So tweak the wording if something reads a bit clunky out loud, but if you've already written real dialogue into your notes, like we did for this demo deck, most of the time you won't need to touch a thing. Right, let's get this thing talking. Still inside that AI voiceover panel, there's a toggle for your current scene or all scenes. And all scenes is going to be the useful one for us here. This will show you a preview of all of your speaker notes and allow Vids to generate narration for every scene in one go. Now, let's cover the actual voice options, because there's more going on here than you might have realized. Click Change, and then at the top, you've got a collection called Conversational Voices. Hover over the info icon, and it'll tell you straight up that these are powered by Gemini 3.1 Flash. This is the newer, more natural sounding collection with names like Nyla, Nox, Zeno, Jet, and Laura. And there's a genuinely long list to scroll through here. Keep going, and there's a separate, smaller collection called Classic Voices. Just 7 of them, such as Educator and Motivator among them. Now, on a personal, non-paid Google account, those 7 classic voices are going to be all you get. The whole Conversational collection sits behind a paid Workspace or Google AI Pro account. That's the same gating as the AI avatars. Now for this demo, I'm going with Jet, a gravelly, low-pitched voice that suits the tone that I want to go for. Once you've picked one, hit Insert All Voiceovers, and the timeline spaces itself out to fit however long each scene's narration will run. And if you'd rather not use an AI voice at all, there's also a record option right here in the same rail. You can choose your options for camera, camera and screen, screen only, or just voiceover. Your script will sit right there above the button, so you'll always know what to say. Now, a quick workflow tip before we get into this next bit: Insert All Voiceovers can take a little while to process, especially across a full deck. So rather than watching a progress bar, jump into some of the other tools in that same right-hand rail and get some polish sorted while that part's cooking. So for instance, we can click music and you'll see that there's AI music generation built in natively. Simply describe the vibe you want, choose either 30-second clip or a full song, and it generates something tailored to your brief. As you can see, I typed in lo-fi background beats, because why not? Hit generate, and a couple of moments later, I have a track ready to preview. I can regenerate again if I don't like it, or I can drop it straight onto the timeline underneath the voiceover tracks. Okay, this is the bit that I think might make people's jaws drop a little. Instead of just a voice narrating your slides, you can have an actual AI avatar, so a virtual presenter standing there delivering your script, complete with lip syncing. Simply click on Avatar, same current scene or all scenes choice as before, and then click Change to open the picker. Across the top, you've got tabs for all your avatars, realistic, 3D cartoon, and 2D cartoon. So it's not just photorealistic humans, there's a more stylized route too if you want something a little bit less uncanny valley. If you're on a paid workspace plan, there's also a design a custom avatar option underneath your avatars, and this will allow you to build your own avatar from scratch with a bunch of options to customize. Kind of like a character creator in a video game. Hover over the options to preview each one and then pick your avatar. I've gone with Eleanor for our final slide. She has a clear, medium-pitched voice that comes bundled in with her. Hit preview and then hit generate. Now, Vids will tell you that lip syncing happens after the full generation because that part takes some real processing power. You'll see a message now saying that it may take a few minutes and you can close this panel, which is honestly one of the smarter bits of design in this whole flow because it means you can go and do something else while that churns away in the background instead of just sitting there staring at a percentage meter. Now, one other thing here worth catching, if that scene already had an AI voiceover on it, like ours now does, you'll end up with two voices talking over each other once the avatar is generated. So go back and select and remove the old voiceover track first. It's a really small thing that's easy to miss, but it will be mildly embarrassing if you don't. And now a quick reality check before you go looking for this yourself. Avatars aren't available on a personal free Gmail account. You'll need an eligible workspace plan, business or enterprise, education plus, or a paid Google AI Pro or Ultra subscription. I'm using my account with an AI Pro subscription specifically because it unlocks this properly. Now, once your voiceover is sorted, there's one more step that I genuinely recommend, and that is captions. This is not just a proper accessibility feature, so not just a nice to have, and it takes almost no effort given that the voiceover already exists. Simply click on the captions option and you'll get the same current scene or all scenes choice as everywhere else. You've then got a genuine plethora of choices here. Simply scroll through the style list and you'll see live previews. There's dark rounded pills with word-by-word highlighting, a plain minimal look, solid color blocks, and even a bold purple option. Click through a few, whatever matches your brand or your video's energy. Today's demo, I'm going to stick with this one here, purely to keep things a bit simple. And now the last practical step, right-click your voiceover track or use the small sound icon next to it and choose Balance Sound. That opens up a panel with a This Track or All Tracks choice and an Apply to All audio button that automatically adjusts everything for clear, optimized audio. Honestly, for most videos, that one click is going to be all you need. But if you'd rather fine-tune by hand, The same panel there shows every track's volume percentage, so your voiceover at 100%, and then you can drag your music track down underneath it. I've taken mine down to around about 30% here. It's a tiny setting, but it's genuinely the difference between sounding properly produced and having the music drown out whoever's talking. And the last thing before we wrap up, and this is more of a quick mention, sitting in that same generation panel over there on the side, there's also options to generate actual images or even short video clips using VO, either from scratch or by animating an image that is already on one of your slides. Now, I'm not going to walk through this in detail in this video, but if there's one moment that you really want to make pop, it's worth knowing that that option is sitting right there. And before you go ahead and try this yourself, let me flag all of the limitations that I ran into during my testing of this feature. First, there is a maximum video length, and that is 30 minutes. It's not quite a hard wall though. Vids will tell you that the video is too long and then lock you out of some of the editing features until you trim it back. Otherwise, you'll find yourself unable to keep editing partway through. So if you've got a really long slide deck, maybe think about splitting it into a couple of short videos instead. And second, slide count. Using these AI features, you're capped at 45 slides. But if you turn all of that off for a straight visual import, you can get up to 100. And third, and this one might surprise you, embedded video files don't carry across during this conversion. You'll need to re-add that content manually afterward. And then finally, on the avatar side, keep an eye on your plan's usage limits. Different plan tiers get different monthly caps, some as few as 10 a month, others into the hundreds. So if you're planning to use this across a whole team, be sure to check what your plan actually allows first. So that's the full walkthrough. From a slide deck you'd already built anyway, complete with speaker notes you'd already written, all the way through to a fully narrated video with an AI avatar delivering your actual words, or your own voice and face if you'd rather record it yourself, natural sounding voiceover options, and captions for accessibility on top. Now, if you want to try this yourself, remember you will need an eligible workspace plan or a paid Google AI subscription to get those avatar features specifically, but the voiceover and conversion side of things is a lot more broadly available. So there's no reason not to give it a go on whatever deck you've already got sitting in your Google Drive right now. Give it a try on something low stakes first, so maybe an old deck, a recap, pretty much anything really. And be sure to let me know in the comments which avatar style you end up going with, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, be sure to check out the channel. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.